gorgeous, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. And before I jump right into this video, I just wanted to let you guys know that I discounted my mugs for the summertime, so it would mean so much if you guys picked it up and then we can twins. I am just rocking my girl boss mug today because every day we're a girl boss, so let's not forget that. I will have the link down below to my merch for you guys to go check it out. We are getting a TMI up in here, and this video is gonna be all around tampons. You guys know I like a good period video. I know someone out there is thankful that I am making this video because the world of periods and tampons can be quite confusing, especially if you're a beginner. So if you guys like my period videos, thumbs it up. I will link my period playlist down below. If you guys want to ask me any personal questions or you're just too scared to comment it, you can also message me over on Instagram. My Instagram is @NicoletaXOYT. I would totally love to talk to you guys over on there. And on that note, let's just jump right into the video. I know that tampons is typically the next step after pads. Tampons can be very confusing because right when you walk into the period section, there is so many to choose from and it can be overwhelming. So I'm gonna go through all of the tips and tricks on how to choose which tampon is good for you, because there's actually a lot of things you should be looking at, and there's a lot of different things to each of the tampons. The first step to look at is absorbency. So tampons actually come in different levels. So right here, as you can see, this box of tampon is super absorbency. So there can actually be 5 levels. Some companies don't include all 5 levels. They typically might not include the first and the last one I'm gonna mention, but some companies include all 5 levels. So the first one being junior/slim, the second one being regular, then it goes down to super, then it goes to super plus, and then the last one being ultra. So the first one, of course, being able to hold the least amount, and then it goes all the way down to ultra, which can hold the most amount. So if you have a really heavy flow, I'm gonna let you know what you should go for. Obviously it's gonna alternate from person to person, but these are just some of the questions to really ask yourself and little things to go for when you are trying to choose out which tampon is gonna work for you. So of course the size of the tampon is going to depend on the absorbency levels. So the ultra is gonna be much bigger than, let's say, the junior/slim absorbency level, because of course the ultra is supposed to hold a lot more. You might have to test out what's best for you and do kind of like a trial and error. So if you find that you can't even last with your tampon for 4 hours and you're just scared that you're gonna leak, or you're frequently changing it before 4 hours, that typically means you need a higher absorbency level. However, if you are a beginner and you are starting to look into the route of using tampons over pads, look for tampons that say junior, slim, or slim fit. You should typically go for a lower absorbency to start with. These are just gonna be a lot more easier to insert and a lot more comfortable. And especially when you're new, it can be kind of scary to turn over to a tampon. You can be kind of nervous, think it's gonna hurt, and not really know what you're doing. Everyone's been there at that time. But something to be mindful of is use different absorbency levels for different days. Typically for most women, the first 3 days are honestly brutal and tend to be the heaviest. So those days you should typically go for a higher absorbency level tampon, and while after that, when your period starts to taper off, going for a lower level absorbency level is what you should go for. You don't need to use, like, let's say a super one the entire time you're on your period. You can use super for the first 3 days and then use a light one for the last few days of your period. A little tip is to actually buy tampons that are sold in variety packs. So you can actually buy boxes like this that come in a variety, so it has super light and even regular absorbency levels. So that's really great because then you could switch off whichever one you need instead of buying, let's say this one for example is just all super tampons. So you could always go for the variety pack ones. I find those are really useful. And something I do like to do, especially if you have your heavier days, is to just go ahead and put a panty liner on your underwear even though you're wearing a tampon. This is just going to ensure that you have no leakage, and you know, you don't want to be in that situation where you leak and you wish you had this on. This is very easy, it's not bulky, it's very comfortable, and I find just putting a panty liner works perfect when using a tampon. I typically use this when it is more my heavier days, so the first 1 to 3 days, just in case you do have a leak. It's better to be safe than sorry. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of other additional features to a tampon to really look at. I know, it's like, I feel like I'm explaining something really high tech when it's literally just a tampon. How many times I say a tampon in this video, I don't even know. Okay, so So another feature you really want to look at is choosing your applicator, because tampons actually come in a bunch of different applicators, and I'm going to go through them right now. The first one, which I believe is the best, especially when you are new into trying tampons, is to go for the plastic applicator. I know it is not the best environmentally friendly, but it is just the easiest to use when you are new into trying tampons. The second one is an extendable applicator. These are usually plastic as well. They are designed to be a little bit more discreet. To first use it, you have to pull down on the applicator to extend it. That is the only difference between the plastic applicator and the extendable applicator. The third one is cardboard applicator. They are just the least expensive. So you'll typically find these in the vending machines that you see in the washrooms if you pay for it. Typically that's what they'll give you. I personally don't like cardboard tampons. I remember that was like one of the first things that someone gave me, and it just did not go well. I did not use that. I just threw it out. I didn't know how to use it. I felt it was very uncomfortable. It is more environmentally friendly, but it is definitely more uncomfortable, and especially if you're new into tampons, I would not recommend that one. And the last one is digital tampon, and this is not some electronic tampon. It just means that it is applicator free, so you insert it with your fingers and yourself. These are obviously the most environmentally friendly. They obviously produce less waste, but I find this is a little bit harder if you are new to tampons. It's maybe better for someone that has been doing it for a while and doesn't mind that. I find, like I said, if you are new, always go for the plastic ones. I'm telling you, it's just gonna be a much more pleasant experience than going for the last two. I did a whole video on my period horror story, and if you guys haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. It was a lifetime experience, let me tell you. I still remember it to this day like it was yesterday, and it was one of the most embarrassing days of my life. But I actually got my period without knowing, and no one around me had pads, and I only used pads at that time, and people came to me and gave me tampons, and the only ones I was given was the cardboard one, and I think there's also the one without the applicator, and there was no way in hell that I could use those. I remember I went to the washroom and I really tried, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just remember it was very uncomfortable. I couldn't, TMI, but like it was not going in. It just hurt. It was just not good. It wasn't a pleasant experience, and I definitely find that the plastic ones are just so much easier, and especially if you get a tampon that is plastic and you go for like the slim fit, it is just the easiest experience that you can have. So this is the next tip, is for my active users out there that maybe you're into sports, or you're in a sport, or you work out and all that, and that's kind of why I started to try the tampon route. I still go back and forth between the two, but I work out a lot, and at my previous job I was walking a ton and always out, and it was just so uncomfortable always having pads. So I really wanted to try the tampon route because it is really great if you are active. It just feels a lot more comfortable, and you're a lot less likely to feel like you're going to leak. If you are active, use the active tampons for physical activity. They have tampons geared towards active, so if people are in sports or working out, or just have a very physical lifestyle, then definitely go for that, because it's made towards people that are active. These tampons are designed to move and be flexible with you, so that is why you really want to go for those ones. And a really great pack to go for if you are a athlete is to go for the U by Kotex Fitness tampons. So these are really cool because they come in little fit packs. So they'll come with 3 tampons in one. It's really discreet and just easy to throw in your gym bag or bring with you to your sporting day, and so you can switch those out throughout your practice or whatever it may be. So that's a really great one to go for if you're an athlete and you're really sporty and just have a really athletic lifestyle. So that leads me to trying different brands. So there is so many brands that provide us with tampons. So the ones that you might have heard of are Playtex, Kotex, Tampax, OB, and 7th generation. The OB tampons are applicator free, and the 7th generation is organic cotton, and they are really great for women that have sensitive skin, so they're just a lot more environmentally friendly as well. So test it out, see what brand kind of works for you. Of course, it depends what you're looking for. I have tried different brands right now, but I started with the Tampax Pearl when I first started, and I found those were the easiest to use when I was new, and I just used the thin ones with the plastic applicator. So something else to look for is to avoid scented tampons. So this box right here is actually unscented. You want to try and go for tampons that are unscented as opposed to scented. The chemical additives that are used in scented tampons can actually lead to skin irritation and also can lead to infections. So if you are rotating your tampons every 4 to 6 hours, you aren't going to have that odor smell anyways, so just stick towards the unscented. I definitely recommend that over scented products. Of course, you don't really want to put anything scented up in there. It is not healthy and it's not the best for you, of course. Another tip I have for you guys is to sleep with a pad. I prefer sleeping with pads. Of course, this is personal preference, but I just find it's easier to sleep with pads. You don't have to worry. You should not be having your tampon in longer than 8 hours. And you know, sometimes we have a long day of sleeping and you don't want to have to worry about that or forget it. People are really worried all the time too about toxic shock syndrome, which you don't want to keep your tampon in for a long time or forget you have it. And people have had horror stories, but it is very rare for that to happen. You just want to make sure that you're consistently changing. And I just find it's more comfortable for me to just kind of sleep with my pads, and then in the morning I can put on a tampon. And that's also just going to help you avoid that situation that no one wants to be in. And the last thing I'm going to talk about has to do with inserting. So how to actually put a tampon. So this is obviously going to take trial and error, especially if you're new. First step, of course, is to wash your hands. Be hygienic. Make sure that you are washing your hands before and after you insert it, and then when you finish. You have to get comfortable. So it really just depends on your personal preference. You could just lay back, kind of have your legs open and insert it that way. Some people also insert it with actually one foot on top of the toilet, but typically I find people just kind of lay back and get in this comfortable situation. Don't be tense, relax your muscles. If you are feeling uncomfortable, that typically means that you didn't insert it further, like up enough, so that is why you're feeling that discomfort. You shouldn't really feel any discomfort at all, so if you are, that means you didn't insert it properly, and just take it out and re-put another one, because it may take a few times, especially when you're new. And the same thing for when you remove it, you just have to pull the string down and it will come completely out. And when you are doing that, just relax your muscles and kind of just don't be tense. I find that works the best, but it is not hard at all once you get the hang of it. You'll get used to it, because you know, it is like second nature. We have our period once every month for like so many years of our life, unfortunately, so you'll get used to it. It's just the first few times may be a little bit tricky, but then it will become easy. Those are all of my tips and tricks, and when it comes to everything you need to know about tampons, I hope this was useful and helped someone out there, and I didn't I don't know, I really thought this could be useful and help someone. I know when I first started wearing tampons, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know anything about anything. So hopefully this gave you guys a lot of information and everything to look for. I will link also, like I said, my mugs down below, so it means so much if you guys picked it up and twinned with me. I would love that. And yeah, send me a picture on Instagram if you guys do purchase one. And if you have any questions, you can also message me on Instagram, like I said, at Nicoletta XOYT. I love when you guys join me on there. But don't forget to click the subscribe button for more content on periods. I like to consider myself a bigger sister, so I got to talk about everything with you guys, you know? And on that note, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!